Welcome back to the social here on talkSPORT 2. Myself and Dan Bardell taking you through to 5 p.m. Ruben Amorim has got here. He is at Old Trafford. He is in post. And as you just said, what are you laughing at?
I thought you were going to say, he hasn't got a work permit.
No, he's working on it. But he's in the building and he's got lots of work to do. And I heard what someone just said there in the package of like, he's got to get these players on board. And if you're not involved and you don't want to be part of this, you're out. And a lot of people are asking this, like, what is like the first thing he has to do when he gets through the door? For me, it's to get that coaching board out, tactics board, whatever, get his counters out, and set out 3-4-3 straight away. That's what we're playing. That's what we're doing. And then he needs to work out who can fit in it. And look, I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't mind. We have to be patient. I'll give him sort of between 5 and 10 games to sort of work out who fits where, who he wants to persist with in certain positions, because we do have a few square pegs in round holes for that system. There's no denying it. There's got to be some adaptation either from Ruben Amorim or from certain individuals, and we'll go through that, who we think those players will be or could potentially be. But I think the main principle is that he actually needs to stick to his principle. And I think he should do it from minute one. I don't think he should be like, no, I'm not going to play a three at the back because I don't have the players for that, or I don't have this or that. I don't mind tweaking things, structurally or slightly. Positioning might be a bit different here or there, but the basis needs to be the same. And if the players aren't on board, see you later.
I think, to be fair, everyone's obsessed with this system at the moment. It would be quite funny if he came in and he didn't play 3-4-3 now. But if you were to play any formation at Manchester United, it's going to be a little bit square pegs in round holes, because both your left backs are injured. So there's going to be a makeshift left back, whether it be a left back in a 4 or a left wing back in a 3. Yeah. So that's going to happen regardless. I think, managers have come in previously, and you can say square pegs in round holes. Think about Manchester City. João Cancelo ever really played left back? No. But he played there for a few years to Manchester City because Pep moulded him and evolved him into the kind of left back that he wanted. Amorim's going to be able to do that with players. So you may see a few surprises or players playing in positions that they haven't played in previously.
That's what I'm excited for.
If you're a good coach,
exactly,
I don't see that as being a massive problem, because if you haven't got the kind of left wing back that you want, you'll play someone there and you'll find a solution if you're a good manager and you're a good coach. And I believe he is a good coach, and that's what he'll do. Manchester United can't fail to improve from where they've been at over the last few years, because I haven't been able to see any patterns of play, any tangible system offensively, at times maybe defensively when you sit in and counter-attack. But what I've seen at Manchester United since Ferguson left, nothing's ever really felt sustainable. I do believe that Amorim can come in and put something sustainable in place at Manchester United. I think he'll get the defence right first, which is what I think all good coaches do. I think the back three will suit the centre-backs that Manchester United have. I look at that, and as a Manchester United fan, I've said to you, you should be really, really excited about a potential back three of Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez, because that complements each other. It's got a balance to it. I like the look of that. That will get the foundations of Manchester United right. And then once you get the foundations right, which I think Amorim will concentrate and should concentrate on first, the rest will come, because despite the criticism that we've levelled at Manchester United, and I've been a big part of that, there is good attacking players there in the right system, and I do think this system will suit some of Manchester United's better attacking players.
Yeah, I do think that. And look, in midfield, he has Manuel Ugarte there, who's starting to show a little bit about what he's about. Yes, you have to take into consideration it was against a poor Leicester side. He was really good against Leicester, but I understand that. But you can only play what's in front of you.
You've struggled in those games previously, though, haven't you?
Exactly. And we just saw this is not a given playing the team, fighting in the league. Look what happened in Ipswich against Spurs. It can happen. So Ugarte and against Pauk, he showed that. Against Chelsea, showed a little bit more. Him next to Casemiro, building that little double pivot there, protection in front of the back three, and what will be a box midfield with 2 10s ahead of them. That's provided, and Kobbie Mainoo to come into that as well. So I like that. I also think that us as fans, United fans, need to be realistic and patient.
I think they will be, though, won't they? They'll
100%.
They sometimes Manchester United, when there's a bit of adversity, I always feel like the fans get behind them more.
Yes,
I think this will happen.
Exactly, and in talking about a grace period, I've been talking to myself about, and others. I want to see what you think about. What do you class as an acceptable grace period of like letting things play out?
I think if you were to finish top 8 this season, but you could see an improvement in terms of the Manchester United structure and the formation, and see some kind of tactics out there that you can get behind, that you think this is going to work moving forward, we're going to improve. It's hard to say. You should just come in and if you don't finish top 6, I think it's really difficult. I think you're a sensible Manchester United fan, as much as you pretend not to be sometimes. you just want to see.
Just need to see progression.
The style of play, and just see something there that you're going to be able to get behind next season.
Even before Eric got sacked, I was big on saying, listen, this trophy situation, like I get
You've
it.
had that.
Exactly. We do. Yes, football's about trophies. Football's about winning. But at what cost? At the expense of what? And what we've seen in the last 2 years, back to back, is we've picked up a couple of trophies that are supposed to be morale boosters, supposed to be, the two types of trophies you can pick up on the way to improving. Carabao Cup and FA Cup are definitely that. Champions League and Premier League at the top. And Man United were no better for it. We were no better of a team for winning the FA Cup, for winning the Carabao Cup. We didn't kick on. So I was sort of saying to a lot of fans, well, let's not underestimate what winning nothing this year can do, and just getting into the top 4 to show some consistency, show we're going in the right direction under Eric Ten Hag, which obviously ultimately wasn't that, which is why now, of course, Man United in every competition want to win, and that should be the aim. Europa League especially, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, get that. But for me as a United fan, you're right, Dan, all I want to see is routines, patterns. I want to see him quickly ascertain a consistent starting 11, so we can get familiar with it, and we can also weed out players who maybe don't fit what's going on. And that is also the job of Ineos now that they've brought a head coach in. It's his job to do that, and it's their job to support him. If they're seeing certain players not fitting the system or not getting any game time because it doesn't fit what this manager's trying to do, it's up to them now to go, right, we need to work on the exit pathways for these players from now, and we need to work on the incoming players, i.e. in the summer. I know January is quite difficult to do business, so we really need to do that as well. And I feel that we have to be patient. We can't expect him to just come in, click his fingers, and all of a sudden Man United are a fantastic football team. It's just not going to be like that.
Yeah, and I really don't think Manchester United fans will do that.
No, we won't.
You've also got to be careful if you get off to a good start and you win 4 or 5 games, not to think that just like that it's changed and that everything's better, because
there's a little bit of a bounce.
There will be ups and downs, and you've had that with Solskjaer,
and you know what?
didn't you?
We've got a tough. The first couple of games in terms of in the league is obviously Ipswich away, which on paper you should say Man United should win that game, but as we've just seen with them playing at Spurs, and your boys went there 2-2, was it 1-1? They gave you a good game. It was a draw.
Who were we talking about here?
At Villa. Ipswich.
Oh yeah,
1-1.
we drew 2-2.
2-2. Really good game. Ipswich were absolutely at it, end to end. They give you a good game.
Yeah.
So
well, their tails will be up now.
Tails will be up. So actually, that's a difficult game.
Yeah, I don't think that's easy at all.
It's not easy, especially if you're going to say to these players, we're playing a new system we've never played before. Ipswich will keep you honest. That's for sure. Then it's Europa League against Bodo Glimt, and then it's Everton at home. After that, it's like Arsenal away around Christmas period. It's City away, beginning of the new year, Liverpool away, Spurs away in the Carabao Cup. There's some big away games for Ruben Amorim to get his teeth stuck into, and if he can do something which we haven't done in a long time, which is pick up a big win against one of the top 6. I mean, I know Eric, we beat you, but I mean like City, Liverpool, Arsenal vibes.
Those games were terrible under Ten Hag, weren't they?
Awful.
Some of them embarrassing. Yeah,
most of them. Let's be honest, most of them embarrassing, mate. So if he could get something from those games early on, even a draw, or if we did lose, but it was like
good performance. There's ways of losing games sometimes, isn't there?
But if he could get a win or two in some of them straight off the bat, I mean that would just go along. Also for the players as well.
I mean that game the other night, Sporting against Manchester City. You can see what this manager's capable of given time.
Yeah, exactly. He has to get given time. And Rude, gone, sent packing. As a United fan, look, I still think it's the right decision. I think they should have done that. I think the old Manchester United would have probably kept Ruud van Nistelrooy on, And I know we talk about you need someone who knows about the club to teach you about the traditions and sort of hold your hand through it a little bit. But I kind of push back to that. I think if you're trying to go in a completely new direction, you have to allow someone to build their own culture. Everybody who comes into Manchester United knows the history that stands before it. Everybody knows. Any good football person coming in as a manager knows about the Busby Babes, knows about Sir Alex Ferguson, knows that Manchester United is about being exciting, getting fans off the edge of their seats. Most of all, knows Manchester United is about winning. Everybody knows that. So in terms of the nuances about how the club works, it hasn't been like that for over a decade now. It's time to build a new Manchester United based off the old fundamentals and the old principles and the old ethos, which is, of course, just being successful. So I think for both parties in this, I think for Ruud van Nistelrooy and the club / Ruben Amorim, I think it was the right decision.
It's potentially something that could have undermined Amorim because he's obviously got his own staff, and we know that he wanted to bring his own staff with him from Sporting, and he is bringing his own staff with him from Sporting. So if you're keeping Ruud van Nistelrooy around just because he's a club legend to have a nod to Manchester United's history, it's no good for Ruud van Nistelrooy, it's no good for Amorim, and it's no good for Manchester United. So there's no point doing that. So it makes sense to cut ties.
It's almost more pressure when you have that, like, big personality
hanging over you. Because I don't think it worked for Ten Hag. Him being there, really, because everyone knew at some point Ruud van Nistelrooy was going to be in that dugout and Ten Hag was going to be gone. I think even Ten Hag would have known that himself. And Ruud van Nistelrooy, as much as he'd never admit it, he'd have known that when he came in, and he'd have thought, this is my chance here to potentially manage Manchester United. And he did it for 3 or 4 games, didn't he? I would also say that, since Ferguson left, you've had those figures at the club. And it hasn't been any good. It hasn't helped you, has it?
No.
Manchester United haven't been anywhere near the levels that the fans want to be and that the club should be at.
You have to make that pivot away, don't you?
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. That is what they're doing. And hopefully Amorim gets off to a winning start and we can catch up Villa and finish above you.
I mean, you're unbearable. You're unbearable already, so God help me if they do win a few games.
And this is me taking it game by game, exactly. You listen to talkSPORT 2 Social with William Hill, 18+, begambledaware.org. Next up, we'll talk the title race